let's talk about this new book. Do you want to tell us about it?
Yeah, so this one is my newest book. It's The Space Between Us. And the concept here is navigating difficult conversations. So this covers difficult conversations that we have personally, professionally. It could be a negotiation, like a business negotiation. It could just be, a kid and their parent having a disagreement on something, or friends, or anything like that. But life is filled with difficult conversations, and I feel a lot of people try to avoid those. We kind of talked about the concept of fragility and how people are. I'm sorry. We talked about the concept of fragility and how people sometimes avoid saying things because they don't want to hurt somebody else's feeling. And you actually made a really good comment, and that actually takes away from the content of our dialogue, right? So if you're at a business meeting and you're dealing with a new competitor that opened up in town, and you feel like a certain department needs to change something or is dropping the ball, but you don't want to say anything because the head of that department's on the meeting and you don't want to damage that relationship, then you just don't say anything. Now we're not acknowledging the root issue here that will actually help us survive. So I feel a lot of people, myself included back in the day, and I still struggle with this today, is, we avoid difficult conversations because we don't want to damage the relationship. I don't want to tell you a truth that might hurt your feelings or make you think less of me or demotivate you or something like that. So I'm just going to avoid the conversation entirely until, weeks turn into months, turn into years, and the problem gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Then the volcano explodes, and then it's just a laundry list. Exactly. Yeah, it's way worse for everybody. Everyone in the team got damaged in it. So I feel, and I'm not saying I'm perfect at it, but now I'm not afraid of difficult conversations anymore. And I'll go into them and I will still stub my toe or say the wrong thing and whatever, but I have enough clarity that I can see through it and get through it with somebody where we get to the answer, we can be transparent and honest with one another. And no matter how difficult the conversations, when we walk away, we have not sacrificed our respect for one another. I might have told you something that you don't like, but by the end of the conversation, that it's coming from my heart, and I love you, and I'm trying to help you and help us as a team. And I'm doing that by being transparent with you, not by sugarcoating the truth, because that's a disservice to you. I'm being selfish to make it easier for myself. Right. So that's that was a big motivation behind writing this book.
And talk about a skill that no one has. Because I feel like in this world, there's a unique few that have mastered this. Yeah. And I think it's for two reasons. I think you have two very stark ends to this ability. On one end, and negative ends. On one side, you have people that are so afraid of offending, so afraid of the repercussions that they never are honest because they don't want to be the problem, right? They don't want to cause a problem. Even if they know something needs to improve, something needs to change, they just don't want to cause conflict. And on the flip side, I think you have people that just thrive in conflict and they actually don't even want to do it to help anyone. They just want to they might even be right. The game of it, yeah, they might even be right, but they just love the always be the brash, nasty kind of person. So I feel like there's two types of people, and to be able to be good at organically bringing up maybe someone else's fault while doing it in a way that still conveys love and care is a skill set. Yes. And it's not easy to do. And I think for me, what I struggle with mainly is, well, what if I'm the one that's wrong? Right. That's what I have in my brain. So I might be in our agency or with my podcast producer. I might be I'm telling you, this is the way we need to go. But then I have this thing in the back of my mind. What if, Dylan, what if you're the wrong one? Right. And then sometimes then I won't say anything. It's well, you know what? You do your thing. I'm not even going to. Right. And you're just going to cake.
Because I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to make a mistake.
And it's again, that fear. It's what we're talking about with the other book,
fragility.
Right? Yeah. It's the fragility. But then if I said, hey man, I might be wrong here, but let me tell you exactly what I'm thinking.
Yes. Yes.
What a breath of fresh air.
Yes.
Even in this conversation, we're both that's the way to do that, 100%. And so when I'm working with my producer, it's the same way. He thinks our clips need to be a certain way. And then there might be times where I'm just okay, man, yeah, it's fine. Just do them your way. Yeah. It's no.
What do you really think? Yeah.
Yeah. It's just tell me. And, especially with relations, me and my wife, it was really funny. This happened 2 nights ago. We didn't get in a fight. I'm not going to. But it was something to where she asked me something. And before she finished asking, she said, you know what? It's fine. Actually, I'll just do it. Right. And she wasn't mad at all. She wasn't frustrated. I was no. What would you like? Would you like me to do this? I'm more than happy to. Just tell me what you want in this situation. She's no, you have to work. It's okay. I got it. I'm Hannah, tell me what you want. She's okay, I'd love to just have a moment to myself. Could I just go and take Curtis, which is our youngest? Could we just go to the store real quick? You hang with Madeline. And I was like, is that what you really want? She's like, yes. I'm like, then yes.
That's awesome.
Just tell me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it was a moment for her because she felt bad because currently, as you know, like I ran home. It was kind of a stressful day. I was behind because of a couple other things, and we had a couple fires I was putting out. And then I had a call that was about ready to happen. Like, this was last night. I had a call that had to happen, and it was with one of my former podcast guests. He was the ex-NFL athlete, and he also owns an insurance business. It was kind of a big call, and so all this was happening. And she's like, you know what? It's okay. And I'm like, well, that's not what you want though. Like, communicate.
Right.
And there might have been a situation where she communicates what she wants, and then I say, can we do that tomorrow? Like, it doesn't mean she gets it.
Yes.
Or it doesn't mean I get it, but at least communicate. So that way I can then clearly make a decision. I think the worst thing team members can do, marriage can do, is you don't give your partner, your significant other, all the information they need to make an informed decision.
Yes.
And that's really, you're damaging them as a result of not being honest.
Yep. And one of the things that you said was so key, it doesn't mean that the person's going to get what they want. Like, if I share with you what I want you to do, it doesn't mean you have to say yes. Like, understanding and acknowledging someone's perspective and point of view does not mean that you agree with that. It just means you understand and acknowledge it. And that alone, regardless of what happens after that, is such a huge, huge, huge victory. Because even if you do something different, if at least the person's like, hey, at least I know you understand me, I know you heard me, and now if you're going to do something differently, you're still going to do what you can do anyways, you're probably going to explain why and help me understand why you're not going to be able to do that. And if we can understand each other, even if I don't agree with the decision, even if I wish you would do something differently, it's tough to be that mad at you. You know what I mean? If we're both, we're giving each other psychological air, we know what we're trying to say and communicate. We're closing the space between us. That's why I call it the space between us. We're closing that gap. So we're speaking more heart to heart. It completely changes the dynamic. Whereas a lot of times people they'll agree to avoid the conflict, and then they kind of sacrifice some self-worth a little bit when you do that.
Yeah. And you sacrifice just the best case scenario.
Yeah.
Right? At the end of the day. And I find myself, I don't love conflict. And my wife grew up in a very high conflict home. And so now she does everything to not get in conflict too. And so you have two people that don't thrive in conflict. Yeah. And we've been married for 7 years. Yeah. A long time. No, I was kidding. Like 7 years. And so we've learned that about each other. And I'm quicker than she is to being willing to nip the conflict in the bud. Yeah. And I think that's the other thing of listening and understanding how people function. Like, I've learned there's times, like, if we have a disagreement, I want to be like, hey, let's fix this right now. Let's talk about this right now.
Yeah.
And because I want to fix it, I'm like, let's get this done. And I've learned from her that it's the best case scenario for us to pick it up in an hour. Yeah. Because that's actually, when she's communicated to me, she's like, hey, sometimes just let me just be alone. I'm going to pray. Yeah. I'm going to just take a moment with the Lord. Yeah. And then I'll come back. Because otherwise, she's like, then I might, like, if you force me to deal with this right now, I might say things I regret later. But if you give me that moment of clarity, and it took me a while to understand that, because I was like, no, it'll be fine. Like, let's just talk about it now. It's not gonna be a big deal. And I learned, like, that's just how she functions. And I have another business partner that it took me a while to understand this too. But when we have a disagreement on something business or something, I can think on my feet very well. So if you come to me with a problem, one of my skill sets is let's get it done, right? I don't need time to think about it. My gut, is generally right. Like, I generally make good decisions on the fly. He needs to process things through. And so we just recently had a big kind of issue we were just working through. And I learned that I was like, let me just type him out an email. So I typed him out. I'm like, hey man, I would like to talk to you about all of this. When you're ready to talk about this, let's talk about it. It was the best conversation we've ever had. That's exactly what he needed. But if I would have come in there and just been like,
guns blazing,
hey dude, this is insane, bro. Like, why are we making these decisions? Blah, blah, blah. Like, it wouldn't have been a productive conversation. But because I've really been trying to practice what you're teaching here, is listening to what he needs. And what he needed was time to process. And I'm like, hey, just so you know, I'm not going to come in here and just throw this. This is what I want to talk about. Now, for someone else, like, I would hate for you to do that with me, because then I'd be like, oh my goodness, we're talking about all this stuff. Like, this is insane.
Like, let's just do this now. Like,
but for him, you could sleep on it. He could think about it and then come prepared.
Process
and so that's exactly what, so we're working on it. And Ken Bogart, I was, talking to you about him. He has a book called No Honesty, but it's Ken AOW, No Honesty.
Okay.
And that's kind of his premise with not beautiful characters, just this sense of, hey, you need to be open and honest with people.
Yep.
And I think, A, I need to introduce you to him because I think that'd be a good connection for you.
Awesome.
Because he does a lot of book stuff. But B, now that this is a problem that is in marriages between parents and kids, between business partners, between employees and employers. I mean, this is just such a great topic. So I think you nailed it on the topic.